Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Katya and today I want to tell you what I as a foreigner in Germany find really strange and interesting in German stores. And first of all, I want to mention that German stores, German supermarkets are not that different from the supermarkets that we have in Latvia or that I saw in other European countries. They are pretty much the same. You can find everything and you understand the system overall. But anyway, I still can see some things that I perceive as strange and funny, and of course things that you can find inside the store usually resembles the cultural differences, cultural preferences, and how society works and what society needs. So let's start. And the first thing that I find really interesting is the huge assortment of different powders for cooking. I mean that you, for example, are making some kind of sauce and you don't know the ingredients or you just don't want to make it itself, so you add powder in the water and then you get the sauce or any other dishes. And it's not like we don't have them in Latvia at all. Of course we have those kind of powders, but here in Germany I see just huge shelves with a huge variety of different powders for different dishes. It can be sauces, it can be soups, it can be anything, almost anything you add to pasta or you add to meat and you prepare some tasty dish. Just the huge variety, like long shelves with those powders. And when I first arrived I was super surprised and my first thought was like, maybe Germans can cook? Maybe no one can cook, otherwise why you have to have this much different powders? I don't know, but I use them sometimes here because, you know, long shelves, and I am interested in trying everything because maybe I do not understand something in this life. So yeah, I also try some of them, but at first it was really interesting why so much. Second thing that confused me a lot is that I never ever in my life saw different sausages in jars, in cans, and I just didn't know how to react, because why? You see the same sausages in the different fridges, they are packed as any others. I don't know, in Latvia they are usually packed in some plastic, maybe this is the case, but really the very first time that I visited our nearest Kaufland I was shocked because I couldn't understand why this long shelf full of different types of sausages put into the glass jars or different cans, metallic. Please someone explain it to me, because I still don't understand what is the difference, because you can buy exactly the same sausages just from the fridge packed in the another materials. What's the thing in that? Please someone explain me. Third thing, which was surprising but not that much, because I honestly haven't noticed it myself, it was my partner who showed it to me, and I also saw some TikToks later when, for example, Americans or other foreigners also mentioned that it's so strange that Germans do not keep all the milk and all the eggs in fridges at the stores. So yeah, you basically can see eggs on the shelves without any cooling system, without the fridge, and also few types of milks that are not kept in the fridge, and also different types of butter. So yeah, that's kind of strange in the sense that I'm not used to it, but when I heard the explanation it was pretty clear that it can happen. And of course people who are working with the food and with the food in the stores, and they probably know better how to store food, and I'm not a big specialist, so if it's allowed and if it's normal, so Okay, but yeah, it's unusual because, for example, in Latvia, all eggs and all dairy products are stored in the fridges, and maybe if they are staying outside the fridge, there is some kind of cooling system, so you basically never see eggs or dairy outside the fridge in the store. Another thing that surprised me a little bit was a huge variety of different frozen cakes and pastries, cakes, cupcakes, and also breads. And that was so unusual because there are real cakes, real beautiful cakes, but just frozen. And a huge variety, again, long fridges full of different types of cakes. Frozen cakes. It was so interesting because in Latvia it's so uncommon. Of course we have some types of frozen cakes that you can find in the fridge in the store, but mostly we have a separate department where the store offers freshly baked bread and also freshly made cakes, so you almost never see cakes as a frozen piece, but you usually get a fresh cake that someone cooked today or yesterday. So it's really uncommon to have some frozen cake. But I say that frozen cakes are not that bad, they are also tasty, and some of them have to be prepared in the oven and others you can just leave in the room temperature and they will be ready after 3 to 4 hours, which is kind of convenient. You don't have to do anything, you just buy and leave it in the room temperature. And yeah, as I already mentioned, sometimes you have to cook them, to bake them, but anyways, they are tasty. And sometimes my partner and I, we are trying some of these cakes. So yeah, nothing against that, but it was so interesting and so uncommon because in Latvia, as I said, you usually get a fresh cake. Another thing in German stores which is bothering personally me is the assortment of tea. I don't know about tea culture in Germany, does it really exist? I don't know, but the thing is that usually I see a huge assortment of different tea with strong artificial flavors, like with flavor of lemon or apple or different berries or different herbs, and almost no plain like black tea or plain green tea or white tea or any other things. It's just a huge variety, and I have to specially search through the shelves because I see enormous amounts of very bright, colorful packages, and all I see that it's tea with apple or with some berry and almost no plain tea, and I have to specially search for it. And usually I end up buying just the cheapest tea, black tea or green tea, because it's usually what I drink, plain black tea or plain green tea, just the cheapest one that you can find somewhere below all the other shelves, because it's the only normal tea. And sometimes, of course, I see some fancy brands of tea which are organic and super expensive, or some specific sorts of tea, but I'm not that into drinking tea, like, I don't know, some fancy brands or fancy sorts of tea. I just want to drink a plain black tea or plain green tea, and then if I want, I can add a lemon or something else, but I just want to have that opportunity to choose a plain one without any artificial flavor. And it's so hard because I barely can find a tea without an artificial flavor here in Germany. Another thing that amazes me a lot in German stores are those special shelves for Russian products and also for products from Poland and also Turkish products. It's so funny because you can find the products which are originally from other countries, for example from Russia or Ukraine or other countries, but Funny thing is that they are usually made here in Germany, because I already read some labels, and some of the things that are considered like Russian product are made here in Germany. And also I found Latvian products, which is really funny. So yeah, we can find it here in Germany. But why is it interesting? Because in Latvia we have like similar shelves, but they are for Asian products, and it's not like there is no Asian products in German stores. Of course there are also shelves with Asian products, but for me, in my perception, it's like a usual thing, because if we are talking about foods from other countries, yeah, we have shelves with some Asian foods and Asian spices. And here, yeah, we can find something which is considered back, for example, back to Latvia is considered like a normal ingredients for the foods, but Germans don't usually use them in their dishes. And yeah, and sell some things in these special shelves with, let's say, interesting products. And sometimes, of course, we can go to that shelves and find ourselves something interesting to try that we are not eating like daily, but we are familiar with from childhood, I'd say. So yeah, it's a funny thing. Another thing that I find really strange, and honestly until this moment I still can't understand it, is that now is the middle of October, and since the middle of September, I guess, we already have Christmas treats and Christmas chocolates in the stores. Thank you, we don't have Christmas decorations yet. At least in Kaufland, but in the other stores you can find also Christmas decorations, which is why we have more than 2 months until Christmas, and still we have all those Christmas trees in stores. And I just can't get it, because I think, in my opinion, when you see those different Christmas chocolates, cakes and other stuff for 3 or more months, then you just won't be excited to see it on Christmas, because you already seen it and you already got used to it. And where is the place for magic? Where is the place for that special feeling that we people usually are experiencing before Christmas, when you are waiting for something magical to happen, and then you see all the lights and decoration and of course Christmas trees, and that makes the whole atmosphere look like Christmas. Because now in the middle of October, I guess we have to experience the beauty and colorfulness of autumn, and then closer to December we can start creating that special Christmassy vibe. I don't know if you agree with me, but for now, seeing different Christmas treats in stores, it just makes no sense. And the last thing in German stores, which seems also like wow, something unique, is the amount of different drinks, and especially alcohol drinks, especially beer, of course. A lot of beer everywhere, and it's like it's not like a few shelves, it's a lot of place inside of supermarket where you can find boxes with bottles, enormous amount of beer. We don't have that much beer in Latvia in usual stores. Of course, as far as I know, in Latvia there are stores which are selling just alcohol beverages, different, and other drinks. So there I can imagine that there are a lot of beer or other alcohol drinks, but in regular store so much. And of course I understand that it's connected to the German traditions and German culture, yeah, but it still amazes me how much drinks, and not like just shelves but also boxes everywhere, and the people usually buy drinks like with these boxes. And it's something that I almost never experienced seeing in Latvia. Of course, I saw people buying alcohol. I don't drink alcohol myself, but I saw, and especially before special occasions, for example, Christmas, New Year, or other different holidays, then people usually buy something more of alcohol beverages. But here all the year, every day, you can find enormous amount of alcohol just in the regular supermarket. So this is the list of things that I find interesting or amazing or exciting or strange in German stores and German supermarkets. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like that. Thank you all for your support. I hope you have a nice day and see you in the next videos. Bye!